Right then, for me, one of the massive things facing Erik Ten Hag this season is how you fix that midfield. There are problems all over the starting 11, and clearly the results over the last few years have shown those problems wherever they exist. But the midfield is the area for me that is in an absolute dire need of overhaul. Players like Fred and McTominay have proven to us that they're just not good enough to be starting week in, week out. And a lot of you guys watching this will probably say, and Bruno, while I disagree, you're entitled to your opinion. And there is no doubt that United are going to sign midfielders. The heavy linking with Frankie De Jong, as well as other ones like Calvin Phillips, Declan Rice. There's a reason for that. And I think even though United should have financial muscle to sign two, maybe even three players, the reports of the Glazers taking even further dividends out suggest that the money might not even be there. So when you can find the fact you're going to need money spending all around, let's have a look at how the 11 might shape up next season. So we know that in his Ajax days, certainly, and we can only assume he's going to try and replicate that with United. Ten Hag played a asymmetrical dogleg 3 in midfield, a 6, 8 and a 10, for want of better terms. Now, the number 10, Bruno Fernandes, I think he's first choice. I don't think there's going to be anyone that's taking his spot, and even if some of you bizarrely have got this take on how much often he gives the ball away being a massive drama, I absolutely disagree, and I think he is one of the better players at the club, one of the more productive players at the club, and for that reason, he's going to play. The performances, the numbers he's produced when he first joined the club were phenomenal. Bit of a fall off last season, but the entire club fell off last season. If he's on top of the ball, he's got the ability to play the sort of passes that I think Ten Hag would like. He created the most chances in the league from any team this season. I think Ten Hag's going to love him. So in the 10, Bruno Fernandes, not even up for debate. Number 8, this is where I think he wants Frankie De Jong. And there will be a big signing in midfield. I'm almost certain of that. And I think despite the reports suggesting Champions League football is this absolute block for Frankie De Jong, I actually think that he's someone that we get done. The likes of Gerard Romero coming out and saying it's 95% done, all of the other stuff sort of kicking around about it, I think we managed to get it done and get him convinced, and he ends up signing. De Jong's a really technically gifted player. He's got experience under his belt, not just of playing European football, but also of playing under Ten Hag. And that means Ten Hag knows what he's getting with De Jong. The midfield right now is seriously lacking in the talents that De Jong has. Everything that he has about his game is lacking in this midfield. And he might be the one player that can really, on his own, elevate the team. With Pogba going, Matic going, Mata going, we're going to need someone that's got a little bit of magic in him and a little bit of that high-level quality. But it's not enough on his own. And the number 6 is a massive position. Now, we've spoke about a few number 6s. All of them seem to have got signed so far, so I'm going to keep banging the drum for this guy. Enzo Fernandez. Defensive midfielder. He's at River Plate. We did a scout report on him a few weeks ago if you want to go and check it out. His performances have made people stand up and take notice. This is a gamble. Juventus and City are interested in him. His release clause is 17 million. For me, that's not the gamble. It's a gamble whether or not he's like top-end Premier League quality. He's definitely quality. It's just whereabouts on the scale does he list in terms of quality. But 17 million, if you're going to spend big on De Jong, have one that makes a little bit more financial sense and a bit more of a gamble alongside De Jong, because De Jong's not a gamble. When you consider the fact that you could be talking up Declan Rice for 80 to 100 million, it's absolutely ludicrous. And you got Phillips, who probably couldn't ever step foot in Leeds again if he signed for United. And even the money involved in Phillips doesn't make all that sort of much sense. I think this kid's worth taking a punt on. Always a risk of signing someone from South America because of the gap in the levels and intensity of the two leagues. But his qualities, to me, look like the qualities that would have him do well in the Premier League. And I think under Ten Hag, I think he could be a real impactful player, an absolute bargain. He gets around the pitch. He's a great passer. He's a good tackler. He's confident on the ball, and he manages to score when he arrives late in the box. I imagine if he came to England and played as a DM, we lose the scoring out when he gets forward and gets into the box, because he'd take the game a tiny bit more serious with what's on the line and the level of the game. But I think you still keep everything else in his game. And this is where it gets interesting, because you've got Now, that would be my starting three. But the starting three rarely plays because you have international games, injuries, suspensions, cup games, rotations, form, all of these things come into play. And you've still got the return of Donny van de Beek. Last season, it was the cult of Donny believing he was going to be United's saviour. And he's had success and he's shown his ability under Ten Hag. So I think he'll be relishing Ten Hag joining, and he'll know he's going to be given a fair crack of the whip. Whether or not you thought he got a fair crack of the whip last time or whether he deserved any more chances than he got, doesn't matter. I think he'll think he's getting a fair crack of the whip under a manager that knows him. And that might be the case. Now, there's every chance he comes back and finds the same form that got him the move to United in the first place. But there's also a chance that he won't. And he just might not be able to be one of those players that is capable of producing the form we saw in Holland in the Premier League. It happens. But he is worth giving a shot. And some of the performances that we saw from him at Ajax, if he's able to replicate those, he will be a massive asset for this team. If Ten Hag is able to rejuvenate Donny, it would be another brilliant option to add a little bit of depth and strength into that midfield because it desperately needs it. Which means you've got other options in the mix and your bench players. Fred and McTominay, right? If they're your bench players and they're your rotation options to give somebody a night off, that works for me. I don't really want to see them play together too much unless it's the League Cup, but they are still capable footballers that could do bits. Evidently they're not starting quality for United, but they are still Manchester United quality as backup options. You can't just have like 7 world-class midfielders. It's not going to work, and they're not going to be happy fulfilling those roles. They have at times shown glimpses of being really good options in big games. That's a brilliant tool to have in your locker, as long as they're happy being the bit part player and contributing as and when they can. It takes a squad to win a season, not just 11 players. And you've also got some players, Dylan Levitt, Galbraith, and probably especially Jimmy Garner, that could come in and do bits. I think there's a good chance Jimmy Garner goes out on loan again, but I think he'll also be given the opportunity to impress in pre-season. And if he takes that opportunity and Ten Hag goes, actually, kid ain't going out on loan, then you've got 7 players for 3 positions. And I think that leaves you in a very, very strong position. In a 25-man squad, you want 2 11s, and then you've got a slack handful of like an extra defender, extra midfielder, extra forward, and an extra goalkeeper-ish. And that does you. That means you can have competitive games in training. It means you've got excellent rotation options. And it means that the squad's well managed. And you've got a hierarchy there of academy prospects, academy talent, rotation footballers, and then your star players. That is how you make a midfield work for the club. When we had Roy Keane and Paul Scholes as our starting 2, you had Nicky Butt off the bench. It worked. That was your backup options. Jonathan Greening played games. You don't have to be world-class in every single position. If you've got world-class talent in your starting 11, you can afford to have lesser quality rotation options and people at different stages of their career, people at the back end of their career. That's why I do really like the idea of Kante if it's an option. People at the back end of their career, people at the start of their career. It takes all sorts in a squad to be able to be successful. That's what I think could happen. Get in the comments, let me know yours. I'll catch you in the next one. Laters.
Real fan ownership, real fan input, real fan change, real fan power. 50 plus 1, we can go better than that. 100 plus none. Download our app, view the free content, read about the club, that's fine. But if you want more, become a member. To vote, to go behind the scenes, to make an impact, interact with a global community around the world, influencing how we grow, where we play, club ethics and values. The more members we have, the faster we grow. Support the club, run the club, own the club. This is ours and no one will take it away. The future is in all our hands.